Brittney Griner is playing a game, and this is what Brittney Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
Patrick Bet-David's recent outburst against Brittney Griner has gone viral on the internet. After watching the widely circulated video of Gurrier's comments about Caitlyn, the creator of Valuetainment, he didn't hold back at all. Clark, remember to subscribe to the channel and use the like button if you're enjoying this video. Remarkably, more than 90% of our readers are still not subscribers. It just takes a second to subscribe, and it's totally free. And it enables us to produce additional videos of similar kind. Oh, have you already subscribed? If so, we sincerely thank you for your support. Let's return to the video now.
Ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
Everyone is discussing what he said next, and Gurrier surely wishes she had never gone there. Court, you think Patrick Bet-David treated Brittney Griner badly, or do you think she earned every word of the nasty takedown? Too severely on her?
Well, that pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
So the whole market reacts to this.
After Patrick Bet-David, Brittney Griner is most likely still picking up her jaw from the ground. Produced one of the most vicious takedowns in the history of sports media. After the publication of that viral movie, the wealthy media mogul and billionaire utterly destroyed Griner and didn't hold back. This was not only a criticism. The WNBA's current culture was completely dismantled, exposing all of its shortcomings. Let's start by talking about the first causes of PBD. What looked like a simple basketball play between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark sparked the entire discussion. But as Bet-David pointed out, it quickly became something considerably bigger and more ridiculous. Angel Reese shoved one of Clark's teammates. Clark fouled Reese in response. Then Reese executed what PBD called one of these LeBron flops, collapsing to the ground as though she had been shot by a sniper. But this is where everything became really stupid. Bet-David asserts that some media personalities immediately, instead of handling it like a standard basketball play, jumped to make it about race. DeMarcus Cousins started talking about. Because of her race, Clark is protected. Angel Reese started saying contentious things. PBD started to get really upset at this time. Jlee Hill held one of the most ridiculous viewpoints in sports history. Indeed, Hill foresaw that Angel Reese would become the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. Think about that for a moment. Somehow, a guy with a field goal percentage of 22.7%, the greatest basketball player, will be contrasted against someone with possibly the lowest shooting percentage in WNBA history. Throughout history, it was astounding what Patrick Bet-David was hearing. Honestly, nobody else has a working brain cells could do either.
Being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate, because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese.
But the stupidity didn't stop there. Ryan Clark, an ESPN pundit, decided to step in and criticize RG3 for supporting Caitlin Clark. Things start to become extremely chaotic at this point. Clark actually asserted that since he is RG3's perspective was unimportant because he was married to a white woman. You heard right, as per a renowned sports. Thus, a black man's opinions about race don't matter because of the person he married. As soon as Patrick Bet-David noticed that clip, he couldn't believe it. He thought it was absurd that someone would actually say anything so out of date and contentious on television around the country. Ryan Clark's conviction that a person's credibility is determined by their marriage on racial issues shows how distorted the discourse on women's basketball has developed. But in reality, the disagreement was a prelude to the significant occasion. The video shows Brittney Griner then. It was discovered that they had fouled out against the Indiana Fever. On the recording, she can be clearly heard saying something like, "Trash. White girl." Patrick Bet-David went completely crazy at that time, in reference to what he heard on the PBD didn't hold back in the video. He said, "It sounds like a trash fing white chick." A player who should know better made a racially insensitive comment. But I'll bet David wasn't done. Oh no, he was just getting started. What really enraged PBD was Gurrier's entitlement and hypocrisy. In reality, This player was traded for a Russian arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. Additionally, by making racist comments regarding, she thanks the player who is saving the WNBA from extinction by herself. Make a bet. Right now. David went utterly insane. He reminded everyone that in order to release Griner from Russian custody, Victor Bout, one of the world's most dangerous arms dealers, was traded by the U.S. government. That is the level of commitment, and the price paid to ensure her independence. She responds by turning around and making disparaging remarks. Comments on an American teammate who is providing their league with unprecedented attention and revenue.
I know what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game.
But Patrick didn't stop highlighting how absurd Griner's behavior was. Then he made a few alleged statements. From Griner bemoaning the presence of actual fans in the stadium. These assertions suggest that Griner was annoyed that thousands of people were watching games and paying attention to the events taking place on the court.
Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross.
What?
Are you
I act like this.
Okay,
Rob, can you verify that this is what she said on the mom and pop WNBA model? That she's sick of the and then she says the whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism.
The quotes were so ridiculous that they sounded like parodies. In the past, WNBA games were a serene, comfortable setting where you might bring your laptop, relax, and perhaps even work, according to complaints from Griners. She supposedly said that it was unfairly pressing us to score when fans yelled and cheered, as though we were there to amuse them. Despite the fact that these remarks proved to be amusing, the entitled attitude that many WNBA players have was summed up in Patrick Bet David's answer to them. Have demonstrated it's nearly unfathomable that elite athletes would be offended by fans that actually have passion for their sport.
I know, Adam. I'm going to piggyback off of Adam because Adam's been saying this for a while. That this is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing." That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what are you talking about? It's attitude, it's no humility, just entitlement, and that's not confidence.
PBD, however, used these quotes to discuss the WNBA's cultural problem in a broader context. He stated that athletes, instead of showing gratitude, Griner and Angel Reese behave as like the league owes them anything. Of Caitlin Clark's financial and publicity contributions to their league, rather than the professionalism and humility that successful athletes need, they display what he called entitlement and attitude. Patrick Bet David completely destroyed the victimization mindset that dominates the WNBA. He said that even if he plays in a league that loses tens of millions of dollars every year, these wealthy athletes are complaining about unfair treatment and racism. Corporate sponsors, the NBA, and mainstream, they are all funded by the media. But in a way, they are still victims. When explaining how this way of thinking is destroying the league's potential, Valuetainment's founder was severe. According to him, the WNBA started underwater and isn't fixing their problems. Instead, it's just making fresh holes in the boat. That's exactly what's taking location. They are too focused on being victims to use Caitlin Clark, a gifted young woman who has the capacity to enhance the sport as a whole. Additionally, PBD addressed the broader media narrative that disparages Clark. While protecting players such as Ree and Gurrier, he emphasized that instead of focusing only on by bending her knee and making comments about white privilege, Clark really hurt herself while playing basketball. When Clark tried to appease her critics by talking about the development of black woman, that's why she looked weak. In this, Patrick Bet David really showed off his business acumen. Circumstance. He knows that successful businesses do not encourage victimization and entitlement. Professionalism and results are rewarded. On the other hand, the WNBA has been behaving in this way, denouncing the one player who is protecting players who are unable to perform while actually making a difference. PBD's Angel Ree figures. This viewpoint is emphasized by cited people. With a field goal percentage of 22.7%, this player may have the lowest shooting percentage in WNBA history, but despite constant criticism, Caitlin Clark receives protection and promotions. Ree's 43.8% shooting percentage when she is within range shows that she can't even make layups regularly, 5 feet away from the basket. The absurdity of calling someone the Michael Jordan of anything when they lack the necessary skills. Patrick Bet David emphasized the ability to make shots at close range. He emphasized that the analogy, even Karl Anthony Towns, who is thought to be unreliable, would be offended by Angel Reese's level of performance. Throughout the NBA, PBD's most detrimental argument, however, focused on the behavior's long-term consequences. We'll see how much when Caitlin Clark is injured or takes time off, the WNBA depends on her for income and audience. The league's ratings and attendance will fall, proving that Clark by himself attracts more attention than all of their other stars combined. This prediction was confirmed when it was announced that Clark would be out for 2 weeks due to an injury. Well, we'll see how viewership develops, Patrick Bet David remarked, as he knew it would draw attention to the league's dependence on. Regardless of how much the other WNBA players gripe about being undervalued, the market will show their actual value on its lone true star. Underappreciated. Additionally, B. David made an interesting comparison between Caitlin Clark and Jackie Robinson. He conjectured that Clark might become the WNBA's Jackie Robinson, not because she's breaking racial stereotypes, but rather because she is the first white superstar in a league where black players predominate. Experience hostility inside her own sport. This contrast highlights the situation's irony. Jackie Robinson battled outside prejudice while adding talent and enthusiasm to baseball. The activity. Caitlin Clark faces hostility while giving women's sports previously unheard of attention and financial support from the basketball community itself. Without a doubt, both were advantageous to their respective sports. However, they faced resistance for challenging the status quo. Patrick was especially perceptive. Bet David's analysis of the media's role in this conflict. He argued that commentators, such as Ryan Clark and Jamal Hill, are more focused in advancing racial narratives than on actually assessing basketball, rather than celebrating the incredible talent and rivalry present in women's basketball. They are stirring up controversy and provoking outrage. Additionally, PBD highlighted the hypocrisy of WNBA's financial model. The league loses tens of thousands of dollars and is entirely dependent on NBA support of millions of dollars per year. But athletes like Gurrier lament that fans show up their games. It's comparable to claiming that customers' eagerness to buy your products is ruining your business. Because of his business, the founder of Valuetainment has a distinct perspective on these matters. The past. He understands that successful companies need to focus on what really matters rather than what makes consumers feel confident about themselves. The WNBA has been prioritizing feelings over performance despite having true talent, which explains why they are still having money problems. Furthermore, Patrick Bet David emphasized the broader cultural problems that affect professional sports. He emphasized that athletes such as LeBron James, who are anti-American, anti-cop, and pro-China, are creating similar issues for the NBA. Leagues lose money and viewers when they prioritize political propaganda over fun basketball, due to the fact that it offends the audiences that these leagues are meant for. Need to grow. This strategy is particularly detrimental. Families don't want to hear social justice lectures when they wish to watch a game of basketball together. Casual fans who are looking for entertainment don't want to be informed there, contributing to the problem. When sports become political drama, they are no longer entertaining. Furthermore,